Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Regularly Scheduled Hostilities Presents with your hosts, Chuck Winchester and Josh DeBord, with a very, very special guest from AR Wrestling, the ARW Rapid Fire Champion himself, Jason Dugan. What's going on, brother? Thanks for joining the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? And thank you for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Pleasure is all on this side of the camera, man. So great to have you on, and can't wait to talk to you about professional wrestling, what you're doing over at ARW, and all of the good stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot going on, actually.
Hell yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll start off with the first thing.
Let's get
So Friday, you successfully defended your Rapid Fire Championship against the Pope. Last man standing, correct?
It's the match got changed up a little bit.
Okay.
I can't give out all the details because it isn't on Fight TV yet.
Oh, fair enough.
But it was a twist. You know, I'm the general manager over at Atomic Wrestling, so I kind of use my power against the Pope, Daddy.
All right.
I dig that. I like that. I mean, you have a lot of victories over a lot of former big names. We got Raven, we got Justin Incredible, the Headbangers. I mean, that's a list of themselves. So I can imagine see what happens with the Pope, man.
Well, me and Pope got a lot of history. A lot of history. One of my mentors, you know, came to ARW and we just ended up rivaling.
I get that.
But either way, you know, Pope's a great wrestler. He's the current NWA TV champion, so it's a big victory in my book, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's actually a great segue into how is it working with the Pope? You know, you said you were one of his buddies back in the day. How is it going with that kind of feud?
It's intense, man. Here's the thing about Pope, man. He's not gonna hold any punches. Pope, man, that guy does not care, man. He'll work you. He'll work you. And he's worked me multiple times, man. He's beaten all Brothers in Arms members, you know, in Brothers in Arms Gauntlet back in 2019. I ended up beating him in an I Quit match. So the rivalry's been going on back and forth. He actually beat me for the Rapid Fire Championship back in 2019. And I beat him back for the championship. And I've been champion since then.
Oh, that's going way back then. I mean, if I don't do math all of that, well, that's at least 3 years that you've just gone back and forth. That's the best kind of feud right there.
So yeah, we've been back and forth, and not only in ARW, but we fought in Jacksonville a few times. So the rivalry's been going on for a while, you know. But I always learned something from Pope, man. I mean, the guy was trained by Dusty Rhodes, for God's sakes, you know. Pope is probably, and I will say, probably the smartest wrestler I've met. Because he can outthink you, he can outwork you, but I'm just a lot younger and a lot more arrogant. So my arrogance helps at times because I have confidence.
Absolutely. I would say confident is probably, you know, half of what you need to win a match, if that sounds accurate.
Oh, it is. I'm not a big guy, so I've been in the ring with a lot of big guys: Adam Rose, Jesse Neal, Wes Briscoe. I've been in the ring with a lot of like big names, and I've always taken every match I've done a learning experience, and I'm able to grow. I've only been in wrestling for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
People think I've been doing it a lot longer because of my resume.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people consider me like a fast rising talent, which is a blessing. You know, I can't say it's not. Like that's not all me. It's a blessing.
Absolutely. I mean, I honestly, looking at your resume, I fall in that category. I assumed you were in it way longer than 4 years, just from the wins you've had and the belt. I mean, you're the current ARW Rapid Fire Champion, and you've been that way since, you know, on and off since 2019. That's a long time.
And then it's just a blessing, man. I travel up down the road. I've worked a lot of great talent, indie as well as big names. You know, I'm occasionally on MLW. I wrestle over there. and I'm in talks for a couple other things I can't talk about right now. But you'll be seeing a lot more Jason Dugan.
Hell yeah, I can't wait, man.
All right, so taking it back to before you were into wrestling. So how did you first get interested? You said you've only been doing it a couple years. What drew you to professional wrestling?
Watching it wise, or make me want to do it wise?
To make you want to do it.
Oh, that's easy. Give you a little backstory. I was a troubled youth growing up. I'm an adopted kid, troubled youth. I was in and out of lockup a lot. I went to prison for 5 years. Did some prison time, changed my life around, got saved, and I wanted to get into wrestling because I've always loved wrestling. It was always a dream I had. And to me, being a professional wrestler is to help others, meaning young, youth, to change their life around, that they can live their dreams, because I was in that tight spot at one time where I was a troubled youth, and so wrestling has been a big encouragement to me. So if I can help change someone else's life, and let them fulfill their dreams, it doesn't need to even be a wrestler. It could be whatever they want to be, because there are a lot of troubled youth that watch wrestling. It's something that wrestling escapes you from reality. And I remember it was my escape as a kid, Even when I was locked up, I always made sure to keep tabs on what was going on. So like wrestling has been a big game changer for me to help younger youth to change their life around.
Oh, good deal. That's fantastic. And so what kind of wrestling were you watching back in the day? What did you grow up watching? Who were some of your favorites? Like that kind of stuff.
My mom was an older woman, so she loved WCW when I was really little. So I got stuck watching like WCW. So I was like a big Sting fan, Goldberg fan. I loved Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. I was trained by Scott Hall when I first started as well. So I watched a lot of WCW, and then, kids in my class watched WWE. So I ended up watching WWE and fell in love with it. So I was like a big Triple H fan, big Rock fan.
Hell yeah.
So, I watched, and then I watched the Impact for a while too.
Yep, good deal. I watched Impact for a long time too, back in like the early 2000s through to like the late 2000s, and it was fantastic wrestling, very along the lines of the Attitude Era ways. So yeah, it was a good shit back then.
Yeah, I had loved the X Division during that time. In mid-2000, Saban, Shelley, Styles, Daniels, man, those were guys that like made me want to be a wrestler.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't beat the fuse that Crystal Daniels and AJ Styles had. I mean, they had chemistry. It was phenomenal. Not to use the word lightly.
Right, AJ Styles was one of my favorites for a very long time. I was a big Jeff Jarrett fan too. I've always liked Jeff Jarrett. Like I liked him from like WWE, WCW, and even Impact. I liked him.
Oh yeah, you can't beat the guitar, man. The guitar gimmick is fantastic.
Yeah, like Jeff Jarrett, man. I feel like he's a underrated talent. Like WWE wise, because he was never like the main event. He was just, he was that mid card guy, but he was a solid mid card guy. Like he can get over anybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would throw him in the same category as like, Roddy Piper. Like he's just a guy who's always there putting others over. But I mean, he was the attraction himself too. It's crazy.
But that's how wrestling works. I've learned a lot of the politics from wrestling, and wrestling's like that, man. Like just politics, man. It's the good old boy system, I like to call it.
If that makes sense.
So, that's how wrestling is, but there's a lot of positives in wrestling too.
Well, let's talk about that. So now you're in the business, so you've liked all those guys in the past. So who are some of your favorite matches, and who do you love to work with like right now?
My favorite match that I've worked?
Oh yeah.
Man, it's hard, man. I've had so many matches in so many with so many great guys, man. I will have to go back with the Pope, man. That I Quit match was one of my favorites. I learned so much. The Headbangers, Brothers in Arms versus the Headbangers, 3 Stages of Hell. It's another one of my favorites. Even working, I don't know if you're familiar with Jesse Neal.
I am not off the top of my head.
He was over at Impact. He was with Incarnate with Shannon Moore.
Okay, I got you.
They were a tag team. He was my first match breaking into the business. I literally ended up wrestling a name guy, you know? So I was like, crap. And I remember, man, it was supposed to be a job match. I was supposed to just put him over. He was coming back to wrestling. This guy worked me for 13 minutes. I'm talking about he beat me up for 13 minutes. It was the longest job match I ever done. That was also one of my favorites, not match quality wise, but learning wise. It was welcome to the business, kid. And so, and Jesse taught me how to.
How do you prepare?
Huh?
That's good. I was going to ask, like, how do you prepare for a match like that? Like, how do you prepare? You know, you're young, you're going into a match with a name like that. How do you get ready for that? Like, how did that day go? I
wasn't expecting it. It was just randomly. I'll be honest with you. I pissed him off. That's what happened. I pissed him off. That's literally what happened, man. You got to remind you, I'm fresh out of prison, so I was still institutionalized. So I really didn't like talking to people unless they talked to me. And in wrestling, you have to shake hands. You have to go around and shake everyone's hand. Why? No one gave me the memo. So Jesse Neal's the only TV guy in the locker room that I didn't shake his hand. So Jesse was like, well, hey, kid. And I was like, oh, hey. And I was like, what's up? And then I guess it made him angry. So he went up to the promoter and was like, who's that kid? And they were like, oh, he's new. He's still training. He's actually one of our referees. And he was like, well, I'm wrestling him tonight. So they were like, hey, you got gear? I'm like, no, I'm training. So they made me wrestle in my shirt and jeans.
Oh, there you go.
So I was, dude, that dude wiped the floor with me, man.
That's a big dude.
He speared me so hard that I flew across the ring.
Jesus, I bet you can still feel that.
He had to drag me out of the corner by my foot to pin me.
Damn, that's hardcore.
But it's crazy because me and Jesse ended up having many battles after that. So he was a big part of my career growing. Year 1, year 2, year 3, you know. Jesse doesn't wrestle anymore, but he lives in Alabama. He just had a kid, and you know, he's just loving being a father.
That's phenomenal. That's great.
So he always tells me, you know, like with the newer kids that are coming in, he's like, hey, you better teach them respect. I'm just a lot nicer
Absolutely.
than he is.
I feel like it's probably a wrestling program is respect.
It is. Respect is the key word.
Yeah, and I wish that worked amongst fans as well, especially with this Wednesday night war shit we have where everybody's kind of at each other's throats, including me and Chuck. At points in time, we're arguing about, I think it's the passion that brings it out of most people. Some people are just assholes.
Oh, sure. Wrestling, man. It's a competition at the end of the day. I watch wrestlers get on social media sometimes, and they'll start bashing each other for real, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, because like we should respect each other, even if we don't like each other. Respect each other because we have a common interest: professional wrestling. We all love it. We're all part of it. You guys do podcasting. I'm a professional wrestler. We got the cameraman, the referee. All of these pieces make wrestling what it is. It isn't just the wrestlers, it's the guys who are actually featuring the wrestlers, such as yourselves, the referee that makes the pinfall, the cameraman that records it, the production guys that are uploading it and editing it. Like everyone we're all doing it because we love it. It just sucks to watch people cutthroat each other.
Yep, absolutely. Especially on the internet when there's no consequence, unlike the situation with Neil, you don't get speared in the ring. You can just talk shit on the internet and then be done with it. And that just makes people say the dumbest, meanest things. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Did you ever watch my posts? I never talk trash about anyone online. I don't really see a point. I think it's childish. I expect my little sister to do it,
Right. Absolutely.
So I watch a lot of guys do that, man. It's pretty sad.
Dude, and they get brutal. I had somebody on Twitter last year threaten to kill my cat because my profile picture is of me and my cat. It's like, Jesus, lady. Like, what is going on?
What you do to make them angry?
I don't even know.
Yeah. What did you do?
I mean, I probably said something about different opinions, but that's probably where it ended. But Jesus, it escalated.
That poor cat.
I know.
I know. Be glad she doesn't hear your Bad Bunny takes right now.
Well,
that's one of our hot topics. So I'm going to ask you. So as far as like WrestleMania as a whole, WWE's kind of thing every year. You kind of get a celebrity, a Flo Rida, a Snooki, whatever. Kind of going back to where you say everybody kind of has their part in wrestling. Are you okay with the fact that they kind of come in like Bad Bunny's fighting The Miz at WrestleMania now? Like, is that something you're okay with, or you feel like that's taken away a spot from a guy who's been on the road? Which, granted, we've been in COVID, but somebody that's been grinding for a year.
I see it both ways because I work a lot of backstage stuff at different promotions. It's great marketing. Why wouldn't WWE use Bad Bunny at WrestleMania? Why not put the 24/7 title on him? I mean, at the end of the day, they're getting more views from a different side of fans. His fans are Latino based, music industry, and that puts more eyes on WWE. And I think Miz is a perfect choice because Miz was a reality TV guy that transitioned into wrestling. As a worker, I'll tell you right now, I know workers that are angry because it's like, oh, the boys work hard for it. It's true. We do work hard to get a position like that. Marketing wise, it's genius. And WWE is thinking marketing. I mean, especially with COVID, you got to try to generate money somehow. Why not let this guy be on WrestleMania and have a match with The Miz? And I wish Miz didn't lose the WWE title in order to be doing this match. It's a joke at that point.
Yeah.
Miz worked, 12 years, 13 years to get the title back? Miz is a legit, in my eyes, The Miz is a legit main eventer.
Yep,
a guy that's underutilized. He's like a Mr. Perfect. He's that good. He can help it. He can help grow talent, but you're never going to really use him as the main event.
He's going to be a guy that when he's gone, we're going to be like, holy shit, we didn't appreciate this guy as much as we should. I mean, he just won the Grand Slam championship. He's the only person to ever won it twice. He's held all four of the big ones multiple times now. Any movie you want to throw him in, he's there.
Yeah.
Media appearance, he's there. He's literally kind of filled in John Cena's role as far as the media darling, because John Cena was that guy for a long time. Now the Miz has kind of took a lot of that on.
And in WWE, man, they got their own vision, but also, Bobby Lashley deserved it too.
Yep.
I trained with Cedric Alexander for a long time in Florida. And I'm actually glad that they're giving him the position that he's in, because in time, he could also be, that top tier guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Cedric's way too talented. Bobby should have been champion a long time ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you lose it at WrestleMania, I'm gonna flip my shit the next week on our show. We're actually watching it together, and we're watching night one together, and that's the main event as of right now for night one. So you're gonna see me throw shit if Bobby Lashley loses already, because he needs to keep that belt until Brock comes back.
Yeah, I don't think Bobby will lose it. I hope
not.
I think because they for a whole year they groomed Drew McIntyre being a main eventer, being the D guy. It happened during COVID. Um, Now I feel like they're changing the ties. Hurt Business is a really top heel team. Bobby is just a really, really good worker. And in order to grow him to look dominant, you use your top guy to put him over. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to have a really good back and forth, but Bobby will win because, Bobby, is the top heel right now. So what they do to grow your top heel, you use your top guy.
Sure. That makes absolute sense. I think they kind of realized, or not realized, but they're moving on. McIntyre has been the champion for the past year. It was big on COVID. Now we're kind of getting past COVID, bringing the fans back. It's time to go on to the next step, or what's next, That's Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley can grow tickets. Drew McIntyre, he'll probably be in the title picture for a while.
Sure.
But after Bobby, he'll probably phase away. He'll probably be in like the mid-card stuff. You'll probably see him wrestling Dolph Ziggler.
Dude, I'm hoping they keep him around. So, everybody's on the Brock versus Bobby train. Everybody's like Mania next year. To me and Chuck, SummerSlam kind of feels like Lesnar's pay-per-view. I know he ended the streak, but SummerSlam's always kind of been Brock's show. So I figure Lashley could hold the strap until then we finally get those two at SummerSlam, which is just in August. Gives them a nice, respectable run.
I'm hoping they I really do hope they let Bobby have a good run. I mean, I remember as a kid, I watched him as the ECW champion, when they made the rebrand of ECW, the PG brand, I like to call it.
Yep.
And Bobby was a top guy there, You got to think it was an hour show. Why not,
Yeah, he was a big shot there. And the thing with ECW though, it never really seemed to be threatening. Just brought their mid guys there to make people watch it, but didn't do much. Big Show was a champion there as well. It's just
you got to think. It was their lower tier. It was before NXT.
Right.
It was a lower tier show. It was like your Sunday Night Heat. You just throw your mid card guys there.
Yep.
Give them more TV time. At that time, I don't remember Miz getting much TV time. I think he was putting over guys on SmackDown.
Yep.
And he had the chick magnet thing he was doing, and then Morrison, he was on Raw, whatever. They were just shuffling around through the roster. So at that time, it was really good that they used those guys over to ECW. Because they had more TV time. Then you had a new batch of talent that came in. Elijah Burke came in. I remember just Kevin Thorne, Matt Stryker. It was a bunch of wave talent that was just shooting through.
That's part of their problem now. They have so many guys now. We were talking earlier, there's so much wrestling to watch. 3 hours of Raw, NXT, AEW, all the different brands. But WWE and AEW to this point have 90 to 100 guys. So it's hard to get TV time for everybody, especially when you've got guys like Roman and Bobby and Drew that you want it, and Edge, who's coming back, that you want to give this TV time to. So it's kind of shitty that they don't utilize NXT where an Aleister Black or Bo Dallas or hell, Shinsuke Nakamura, who used to be prominent on that brand, that are not really doing much right now except putting people over or just sitting at home.
You notice, anybody who leaves NXT goes right to WWE. It's hot at first when they get there. Then a few months, it just slows down. I mean, Apollo Crew, he was one of those guys that everybody was big on, and then nothing. Tyler Breeze was another one, nothing. The list goes on. They come in really hot. And nothing. Yep. Kevin Owens was pretty much the only one I could think of that really kept his spot for a very long time. And then nothing.
Yeah,
how lost right now.
And they're still around. I mean, Sami Zayn still has weekly TV time too. But
Sami Zayn's great. Don't even start. Sami Zayn's been great.
A lot. It's a weird time for the NXT guys. It's hard to get over if you're an NXT guy.
Yeah, because you got to think you're in there with a lot of guys with years of experience that, like I said, good old boy system. You've been there for so long. That's it. That's why you hear stories about John Cena, basically, saying, "Oh, I don't think he deserves it," or
Sure,
the
makes
big
sense.
league, get the big league.
So how does one get in the big league? So John Cena would say that. What would you do to get over? Do you get over on John Cena and to put your name in the main event spot, or at least attempt or get your name spoken about?
I think it depends on the worker, work on your character, work on your promos. Like a wrestler needs to have, you can wrestle, but you better learn how to talk. You better learn how to, maneuver yourself into anything. That's one thing I learned about wrestling. If you ever notice, a lot of the guys that get a push are like really good talkers because they can entertain fans, not only just wrestling. Anybody can wrestle. You guys can go train today, and in a month or two, will know how to do a headlock takeover and learn how to wrestle. But you got to have charisma. You got to know how to talk. Like wrestling is just different. It's still acting too at the end of the day because you're entertaining. So you got to entertain. Why do you think Enzo was able to get TV time when he was there? It's true. He was hated. No one liked him. Everyone said he sucked, but he was getting TV time.
Dude, that's accurate. We went to a WWE Raw a couple years back when him and Cass were hot as hell. And we literally went there to see them too. Like Jericho was there. That's back when AEW wasn't a thing yet. So they still had an even more ridiculously deep roster than they do now. When it gets to the main event with the Jericho highlight reel, and we're like, what the fuck? Hey, they're not even here. They come out the roof off US Bank Arena. I thought it was going to fucking pop off. Those dudes were so over because they connected with the fans.
Yeah, and that's one thing. If you can connect with the fans, you're good as gold. Why do you think they got the TV time? They had the most sell in merch at that time. Same thing with the New Day. New Day stays relevant due to the fact that they're entertaining. Like when Kofi was by himself, Kofi always kept the title on him, but he was also just wrestling. He really didn't cut a promo or he didn't really stand out until he was with the New Day.
Right.
So John Cena, he rapped on the fly. He was a big muscular dude. He wasn't the best wrestler. I mean, the guy with five freaking moves.
Yep, 5 moves of doom.
Yeah, so he had 5 moves, but he can talk and he can connect with the fans, mainly the kid audience. Kids love John Cena.
Sold merch. That's where it's at.
Same thing with The Rock. I can tell you right now, I do a lot of shows for The Rock's family, the Wild Samoans and whatnot, for WXW, and I know Alpha, and I've heard people in that family line, not Alpha anybody, I won't name names, they said The Rock wasn't the greatest wrestler, but he was over as hell.
Yep.
Because he connected with the fans and he knew how to talk. I thought he was the greatest wrestler at the time. I thought as a kid, when I was like, The Rock is that dude.
I did too.
But if you look at his wrestling ability, it was very simple. I mean, look, he did an elbow, for God's sakes. He ran around the ring and dropped an elbow.
Well, you look at a lot of the greats, like Hulk Hogan did a big boot and a big leg. Stone Cold did a Luthez press, and I mean the Stunner's pretty nasty finisher, but you don't look at them guys, and hell, you look at probably. So who are the biggest guys now? So you got probably the Fiend on Raw and Roman Reigns, I would assume. Roman Reigns isn't the greatest wrestler, but he gets a reaction. The Fiend, you have to be like, okay, what the fuck's this guy doing? Like, but you're never going to see a Dave Meltzer 5-star match out of these guys, and that's okay because they connect with the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, Roman, his family tree, is huge, man. I personally know, being over at the Wild Samoans, that family tree is huge. And all of them are good wrestlers, man. Like, I don't know if you're really familiar with that family tree. And man, like, it's a huge ass family.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be there, and it's like so many of them. And I'm like, if I do a WXW show, it's like, well, here's my cousin, or here's my nephew, or I'm like, what the hell? Is more of you guys?
And it's crazy. Speaking about The Rock, I think it's arguable to say that the Attitude Era, when The Rock was at the biggest in the wrestling industry, that's probably a period of time when pro wrestling was at its height and the wrestling matches were probably at their lowest. It was just all about the show, the showmanship during that time.
Dude. Dude, the Attitude Era was great, man. I was a big Godfather fan and Val Venus fan, character-based guys.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. There's a lot of that back then.
And now you still got like R-Truth. Like, no matter what he does on TV, I'm invested in whatever the hell he's doing. No matter what he's doing.
He keeps himself relevant. I met him a few times. Great guy, man. Great guy. It's funny, the character he plays is not like the person, like, when I met him a whole bunch of times, like at training. He was just laid back, quiet. Crack a joke here or there, but he was like laid back.
That's great. So, like, here's a question, man. So, like, how, obviously, I'm not sure if I can ask that or not, but, like, is it surprising to meet certain wrestlers because you thought of them in a certain way because of how they are on TV, and it's just like a total shock when you come across them and it's just a different person?
It shocked me at first, like with certain wrestlers. But then at the same time, they're just normal people. They're just playing a role. And I know better now, doing it. Because I get a lot like, oh, man, you're nothing like your character. You're nothing like what you portray at shows. So at first it was a shock to me. And then I was like, oh, all right. Like when I saw Triple H for the first time, he was just hanging out in the back. And he was drinking a green tea.
There you go.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that's the game. And he's drinking a green tea. It ruins me, man.
And I tell you what, I still hate Triple H as a wrestling grade. I hated him on TV, and it just carried over. Like, I love watching him on TV, but I still just have that, like, hidden hatred of fuck that guy just because of the Attitude Era Triple H.
Oh, man, I love the Attitude Era Triple H. That Helmsley era, that was the greatest thing ever.
I'll never forget.
I think Heel Goes Down is one of the most underrated. He kind of gets lost in that shuffle, even though he's accomplished a lot. Kind of The Rock, Stone Cold, all of them kind of get thought of first. But Triple H was damn good. I mean, from the Stephanie wedding to all the crazy storylines that guy was involved in, and to this day, what he's doing.
Even after the Attitude Era, when he did Evolution, he was good, Bringing back DX, good. Like Triple H, he's an entertainer, man. He's really good at what he does.
Absolutely.
Well, even today with NXT, you can see he knows what wrestling fans like. Like, he's in tune with what people like.
Oh, yeah, and that's because he's coming from a new generation era. WWE, they got a whole team, so they have to like talk to each other about what works, what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. If you notice, NXT works because it caters to the younger audience. They like seeing that it's like an indie show that's on TV.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Where you just spot. Same thing with AEW, very spotty. WWE, Raw and SmackDown is just the matches are storytelling. If you notice, like they're not going to have a bunch of spots. Few of the workers, like Ricochet, maybe Cedric Alexander, Shelton, some of those guys that are very spotty base, they'll have those type of matches. But then other guys will just tell a story in the ring. Yeah. Taking a big shoulder tackle tells a big story.
So as the ARW Rapid Fire Champion, what kind of matches do you like to do, and how do you like to handle different types of gimmicks and that kind of stuff?
For Atomic, like I'll pretty much do whatever, you know. Alex Red is a great promoter, man. And he goes with the opinions of all the workers. So if you have an opinion, if you have a different vision, he'll hear you out. And all right, well, let's try it out then. I'm not picky on what matches. I'm a tag team guy, you know. I'm a very good tag team wrestler, but I'm a very accomplished singles guy too. I focus more on brothers in arms, but I can't get out of these dang single matches. Everywhere I go, they want to book me for singles. You know, and
that's the way to go.
Tag team wrestling, I could be lazy.
That makes sense. So it sounds like you can just pretty much do anything or adaptable, so they use you to be adaptable, if that makes sense.
In wrestling, you have to be. You don't want to be stuck with one thing, because then you're just stuck in that one thing. So for me, let's say a show opens up, they need a singles guy, bam, I get it. They need a tag team guy, bam, I got it. So I always get looked at for whatever, because I can do whatever they need me to do. You can work a bad guy today? Good, we got it. Oh, you could be a baby face? Boom, you got it.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to ask you. So, do you have a preference on working baby face or heel?
Everywhere I go, I work heel. It's very rare that I work baby face. If I do, I can do it. It was recently a show. I worked a guy, and I guess he regularly works as a baby face. I mean, heel. And they were like, hey, you know, you're more experienced than him. Maybe you should be the baby face. But then I'm like, I got brothers in arms in my corner, my manager and my tag partner. It wouldn't make sense for me to work baby with a whole entourage outside. So, like, they made me work heel, and the guy sucked as a baby face. Crowd wasn't behind him, anything. They cheered me for beating him up. So I prefer heel, but I can do both.
Okay.
I heard that heel is just more fun. Like, I remember even Triple H talking about that back in the day at an interview. He just says it's more fun to be a heel. You do more cool stuff.
Well, here's the thing. As a heel, you can do some cool cheating tactics, but if you notice, baby faces do all the cool stuff, such as the Karanas, the high flying moves, stuff like that. Heels are more ground and pound. You know, I'm gonna beat you up, cheat, I'm gonna choke you. You know, that's what a heel does. But it's fun because you can talk trash to people.
Makes sense.
So, all right. So you're currently in ARW. If you were to leave ARW and go to another promotion, would there be an ideal promotion that you're just like, one day I want to work there?
Like indie wise?
No, like any, like WWE, AEW, MLW, Ring of, like any of them.
Well, I'm already at MLW. I'm already at MLW. A lot of these MLW, AEW, OVW, a lot of these promotions are very flexible on schedule, so I would not have to necessarily leave. WWE, I would have to leave. Like the AEW, you can work indie shows as well, with permission, I hear. So I don't think I would have to leave necessarily if I went to AEW.
Gotcha.
Because Red Velvet can still leave, and I'm good friends with a lot of people from AEW that I personally know, that I've known for a while, and I know like Red Velvet, she can still work outside shows. My partner's actually in that's in AEW as well, and he works both shows as well. Badu.
Mm-hmm.
So he works AEW as well, and then Rising, he works both as well.
Yeah, I know we have a guy who covers Coastal Championship Wrestling. I know Brian Cage is like in their main event for their next big show. So AEW is very flexible with whether they I didn't know if you just had an idea like you're just like, man, I just wish I could work for. Most people say it's WWE, but I know everybody's different. Now with AEW kind of giving people that other platform to where, like you said, the freedom's big. Like when Thunder Rosa was debating on whether she wants to leave NWA or whatever, the fact that she could bounce to all different promotions is why she didn't even consider WWE. So I know that's appealing to a lot of wrestlers now.
Yeah, I like the indie circuit, and I like what I'm doing right now. I don't really see myself a WWE guy. I feel like it's just a restriction. I'm just stuck, and I don't want to feel stuck. I love doing the work I'm doing over at MLW as well. I'm the new guy there, so I lose all my matches or whatnot. I like it there. It's a good learning experience how to work TV, and then Atomic just signed that Fight TV deal, so we already been on Fight TV. We're on Fight TV every week. And it's hard to get a weekly program unless you're Ring of Honor and NWA. So Atomic is one of those promotions that has grown so much in 4 years. That's why you hear a lot about it.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. That's awesome. Congratulations on that, man. That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Well, hell yeah. So, you're in several promotions now. So what is your goals going forward? What are your goals going forward in ARW and an end game of being like a multi-platform champion, or like what's your goal going forward?
Well, I recently won. Well, it's actually going to be aired tomorrow, but I recently won the Cash In Battle Royal. Gives me an opportunity to cash in for any championship at any time. It's Atomic's version of like the Money in the Bank.
Sure.
I can cash in any title. I've been there for 4 years, and I've been a tag team champion, Rapid Fire Champion. So I have my sights set on the heavyweight championship. I'm not a heavyweight, but I've proven that I can stick with the heavyweights. So it's just a matter of time. Right now, Ryzen's our champion. So my sights set are literally possibly the heavyweight championship. That's my goal. I've been there. I've been there since day one. And I've known Alex before Atomic as well. We worked the ring truck together when I first started. So that's literally my goal is one day to hold the heavyweight championship over there, because I feel like I've proven myself that I can hang with the bigger guys, and I've been in the ring with some top talent. Fingers crossed, I'm gonna win that belt.
Absolutely, I can't wait to see it. So I'll check that out. See that gold belt on your shoulder.
It's a very good roster, man. Ryzen's got a match against Gangrel coming up, correct?
Yes, yeah, he's wrestling Gangrel. The Awakening, formerly known as the Ascension, they was announced that they won the tag titles against the Headbangers. Yeah, we have a strong roster. We have Shannon Moore, Ryzen, Badu, Vertigo. We got some great indie talent there. Vertigo, Alex Todd. Like, we have a great roster, man. And Sue Young is our women's champion. So it's always great to see Sue. So we have a really strong roster.
That's awesome.
Like I don't know if you guys have watched ARW. I'm pretty sure Josh has.
Yeah, I watched your I Quit match with Pope. Now, let me ask you. So when you're in a match of that magnitude, Chuck kind of asked about it earlier. How do you? It's like when you go into a match and you know, like this is going to be it. There's not going to be no changes. How do you prepare for like a I Quit kind of match? Because those matches are physically and mentally taxing.
It was. I'll be honest with you. That match, I remember being hurt for like a week. I mean, you watched the match. Freaking Pope beat me with a chair multiple times. German suplexed me like 11, 12 times.
Yep.
I remember I was all beat up after that match. Preparing, man, is just studying. I did a lot of studying, like I Quit match wise. I watched a couple of like some WWE stuff and just learning the formula so I can get a good idea. Because wrestling's all about timing. It's all about telling a story. And then when you're working with someone like the Pope, you really don't got nothing to worry about, you know. He beat the crap out of me, but I also beat the crap out of him.
Back and forth. I like it.
Yeah, it was definitely a back and forth thing. Mentally, I prepared myself, just getting myself mentally. And then when you work someone like that, I trust the Pope. So I'm like, I know he'll take care of me, despite that he's going to beat the crap out of me. Like, because he ain't holding back. Like I said before, like he does not hold back. So mentally I was prepared, you know. Physically I was also prepared as well. Those are the type of matches that are it's draining, man. Like I've done a lot of gimmick matches. Like we have a special type match for Brothers in Arms, and it's the prison yard match, where it's just an anything goes type of field, where it's just we end up just fighting. I remember I worked Fulton multiple times in a feud. You know Madman Fulton from Impact?
Oh, yep. Absolutely.
This guy's a giant, man. Like I had to work him multiple times in tag team matches, man. This guy, unbelievably strong, man. Just chucked me every time. I remember I hit him in the head with a axe can. He said that was the hardest thing that happened to him in a match, was me hitting him with the axe can in the head.
That's awesome.
I even power bombed. I power bombed him too.
A big guy.
You do work with some big guys.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a blessing, man. That learning experience, man. And I'll tell you right now, every guy I've worked has always been given. Just wants to help me grow, help me get better. Man, JTG, man, he was just one of those guys, man, that I enjoyed working him, man. He was just one of those guys that just wanted to make me look like a star. He was like, man, let's go out there and kill it. Mm-hmm. And he was one of those good guys. So I'm actually looking forward to working him pretty soon.
Got to keep an eye out for that.
Maybe a match to watch. How do we how do we find that match going forward? When are y'all wrestling, or if you can even tell us? You can't all cut up.
Fight. Just if you have the Fight TV app, look up Atomic. We're on every week. Tomorrow night will be the main event for the heavyweight championship. Madman Fulton versus Ryzen versus Shannon Moore is our main event. And then I'll be in the Atomic Drop Cash-In Battle Royal, which you can watch that. Many good guys are in that match. So every week, every Thursday night, Fight TV, 8 p.m.
Awesome.
Right. That's right after our show's over.
Yeah, that's perfect timing.
We get at 7:30, so that works out. All right, before we wrap up, is there a guy currently, any promotion that it could be a couple of people that you're just like, man, I would love to work a match with this person?
Man, honestly, my dream match was JTG.
That's bad.
It was built 4 years in the making. Our gimmicks are similar from when he was in WWE. Hat, bandana, bulletproof vest. Like he was one of those guys like I idolized. So I had that dream match. But forward, man, I would love to work Ricochet. AR Fox. My tag partner was trained by AR Fox. It might be a deal one day. Might end up working AR Box one day. It's just so many great guys to work out there, man. Oh man, it's really hard to pick. Just so many great guys to work, man. All of it's a blessing, man. But there are like AR Fox or Ricochet would be one of them I would like to work. I'm not against intergender matches, depending on the female. I've known Tessa for 4 years. She's somebody I would like to work whenever she decides to step back in the ring.
Yeah, we're all kind of. There was rumblings when she first became available that, with Charlotte and WWE, that match would book itself, or she go down to AEW because her dad's down there. I'm curious where she's going to end up.
I think right now, I haven't talked to Tessa in a long time. I think she's just taking time for herself. She's about to get married. And I think because she's been nonstop going wrestling for these last, 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's taking this time for herself. But when she decides to sign somewhere, man, that girl's going to go, man. It sucked how things ended with her in Impact.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, AEW, WWE, it's so much. And Tessa's a good talent, man. Like, Tessa can go anywhere.
Yeah,
like,
she'll have interest from everybody.
Yeah, personally, me, like, I think Tessa is the best female worker out there. Besides the Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's really good, man, but something about Tessa, she's very special, and she has that bloodline and who her father is. And the same thing with Charlotte, man, they would have a killer match. I personally think Tessa's just a little bit better,
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. It really is. I mean, she is fantastic in the ring. And I saw a picture, I think today, that she was training with Sasha Banks and Bailey and a few others. So
yeah. I can't wait when she comes back to start working shows, man. Like, she's a good person, man. That's why I thought it was crazy when I see accusations about her.
yes.
Like, I've known Tessa when I had first started. She was never like that, man. She was always caring, always wanting to help the next person out, always wanting to train the person. If you had questions, she'd take the time to talk to you. Like, she was a good person, man. Like, that's why you can't always believe what you read online.
Yeah, and that's something I'm going to bitch about at nauseum tomorrow on our show, because you had this report from Meltzer where Charlotte was leaving WWE for whatever, and she ends up, she had COVID. Like, leave the poor woman alone. That's not some stuff you want to put out there. Just like, quit speculating. Don't make up shit to get clicks. Just like,
yeah, well some people don't
ruin wrestling.
Some people just, they want to get anything to get views, man. They'll say anything, just to get views. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all about views. What's the biggest pop, Here's the thing, like, I've noticed people live in the moment and instead of playing the long game.
Yes.
I learned that with promotions. There's so many great promotions out there, man, but a lot of them are in the moment, just there for the pop, for the views. And that's one thing I like about Atomic is Alex was in for the long haul, and he took his time. And that's why he's a little bit more successful than a lot of promotions that are in the Florida region. But there's so many great wrestling promotions in Florida, that I feel like could be the next big thing, with Atomic up there with Fight TV and whatever. There's some great promotions, man. I work for a lot of good promotions with a lot of good management. But I feel like when you have a wrestling company, you shouldn't be about the moment. You should be about the long game.
Yep, absolutely.
Investing.
And it's funny how some things work out not even planned. Like, just shit happens to fall into place in the long game. And that's the best part, is the payoff. It's where you said, we talk about like wrestling nowadays. There's a ton. We almost take it for granted. There's going to be tons of great wrestling on tonight between NXT and AEW. Like, there's going to be tons of wrestling on ARW tomorrow. SmackDown Friday, but it's all about connecting. If every
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
The one thing I like about Thursdays on Fight TV is OVW is now on Fight TV. Every Thursday, I believe they're on 7 p.m. We're on 8. So like Thursdays is now like the smaller upcoming companies are coming up Thursday nights, and then there's a lot of great stuff right after it. Oh
yeah, every wrestling platform's almost got their own night. Raw's got Monday. You got NXT moving to Tuesday, it looks like, right after Mania, which will help AEW. I mean, that'll probably knock them over 1 million each week, which will be nice for the fans to be able to watch. But like me, I can watch both and not have to like stay up till 2 a.m. to watch both fully every Wednesday night. And then you guys got Thursday night, then WWE's got Friday night, and every promotion gets an equal chance for fans to watch, which is going to help them grow in the end.
Yeah, it's a lot of wrestling there, and it's great because now it's more opportunities for wrestlers out there,
Hey, listen, I tell Chuck, it's only a matter of time. Like, listen, I've been champion for about a year now, so I'm ready to start taking bumps.
Champion?
Yeah, it's not as serious as you being champion. I don't take actual bumps. I just predict pay-per-views way better than everybody else on our show. But I have almost had the belt for a year.
Dang.
He'll be crying come WrestleMania when I take it back from him. Don't worry about it.
That's where he loses it at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen, I was telling him earlier, it's nice to be to have another champion on the show, not just him.
That's so messed up.
That's how it goes. Like I said, come April, he'll be crying like a little girl. Anyway, hey, Justin, we super appreciate you being on the show tonight, man. We had a great time talking to you. And be sure to check out Jason Dugan every Thursday night, 8 p.m. on Fight TV. And I can't wait to watch that Pope match. You have hyped it up, and I can't wait to fucking watch it.
So it's going to be a good match. You won't be disappointed.
That's great to hear. Well, again, man, appreciate you being on the show, and everybody be sure to follow Jason Dugan. What social medias are you on? Like Twitter, Facebook? Where do we find you?
I'm on Facebook. Just look up Jason Dugan. For some reason, I pop up very easily. And then Instagram, you just type in Jason Dugan. It pops up as well. Same thing with Twitter. You just have to put in Jason32796. And my stuff will pop up. It's a blessing, the following I have, man. I'm very happy. I can't say I'm not.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Hopefully you get a few more from this show, and I'll be sure to go on there and follow you. I think I'm already following you, actually, so we're good to go there. And again, I can't wait to watch the Pope match, and I can't wait to see you with the heavyweight title on your shoulder.
That's what I was about to say. I feel like that might happen sooner than you think.
Never know, man. I got that briefcase.
There you
I'll
go.
just tell you, you're going to win the heavyweight title, and I'll keep mine. And maybe one day when I learn how to wrestle, I'll see you down the road.
Yeah, we'll have a champions party.
There you go.
Without this guy.
There we go. I can do that.
Keep waiting. We'll see some tears.
All right. Thank you guys for having me on, man. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Pleasure's all ours.
Time.
All right, guys. Man, be easy.
Yep, stay safe out there.
Thank you guys too. How do you turn this off?
All right. So, like Chuck said, make sure to every Thursday night check out Fight TV, check out ARW, watch him, collect that briefcase tomorrow night. You know, it's also fun. Not only are we both champions, I also won Money in the Bank. So, I was going
to bring that up, but I don't want to hear about
it. I think I'm going to start a petition on Facebook that I should join Brothers in Arms. That's just me.
Hey, man.
You know, he said he's got a manager, but having an extra person out there to distract won't hurt.
You just go out there, you just stun that manager, you take that spot, and now you're the new Brothers in Arms manager. That's how you do that. That's how wrestling works.
My finishing move is going to be the 450 splash, but
whatever. Mine's whatever the Steve Austin's drinking beer move was called. That's what I do.
You need to stick with the basic clothesline from hell. Just
There
punch
you
somebody
go.
in the face.
I'm not sure these arms. I'm not sure they would cause much damage, but
It's all about selling.
right. All right, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the show. And like Josh just said, be sure to check out Jason Dugan's social media accounts. Be sure to check out ARW every Thursday on Fight TV, 8 p.m. And be sure to check us out tomorrow night, RSH, every Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Buzz. All right, anything else to add?
Fastlane breakdown tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So what we're doing. Road to WrestleMania is kind of changed a little bit, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I don't even know if WWE knows what's going on at WrestleMania.
Well, you haven't watched Raw yet. They pretty much announced the whole card last night, night 1 and 2.
I did see the card. So that's that
So
worked.
Night 1, our WrestleMania party is going to be. We got Lashley, Drew, Sasha, Bianca, Bad Bunny versus Miz. I'm gonna get my Bad Bunny shirt, repping my boy. That's all night 1. I get to watch that right next to you. It's going to be. It's going to be great.
Such a waste of time. But hey, whatever gets him that money. But not for me. Then we'll discuss that tomorrow. My opinion on that, as well as yours. But yeah, all right, guys. Let's be sure to check this shit out. We'll keep this conversation going tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Buzz. And be sure to follow us on social media. And I would say fear regularly scheduled hostilities, but this isn't the same show, so I feel that's the wrong tagline.
Yeah.
Close enough. All right, guys, continue to fear regularly scheduled hostilities.